This is season number 19 of Bass Talk Live with Matt Pengraff. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Aftco, Strike King Lures, Sunline, Big Bite Baits, Spro, X-Zone Lures, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, and Pro Guide Batteries. Hit them with the hook, Jeffries.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing, and hopefully we can make it an hour without me just completely losing my voice. I don't know. It happens every year. It's the hay fever, I believe is what it's called. It's the tickle in the back of the throat anytime you even start thinking about mowing the grass or going bass fishing. It just drives you nuts. But hey, we're going to get through it today. We got a really cool week of shows playing. We're going to kick things off with the college bracket champ, Louis Monetti. And Lou went out and made the cut in the Bassmaster Classic. And I'm going to admit it. I know he's listening. I missed this story before the Classic, but he was on like every single podcast there was known to man, and everyone was covering it. So I didn't get Lou on. And then I'm at the Classic and I'm enjoying a beverage with Travis Manson on like this rooftop thing. And this dude comes up and he's like, little Jersey. Yeah. He's like, yo, you missed the best story of the whole Classic, man. And I'm like, what? And he said, it's Lou Monetti. And Lou was there, and I said, yes, I want to get you on. We will talk about how the Bassmaster Classic went down for Lou Monetti, probably the only man on earth to request that forward-facing sonar was taken off of his vessel prior to the start of the Bassmaster Classic. So we will get into that. Couple things, odds and ends that I want to get into before we get to Lewis. I want to thank Nathan, and if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see this. Nathan, BTL listener and fan, knows that I do not have a jersey. So for a school project, he went ahead and made a jersey for me. He's got the Bassmaster Opens on the side there, the BTL logo, Best on Tour, Bass Cat, Big Bite. He said he didn't want to put too many logos on there, so he wanted to stick with the big ones. I said, absolutely perfect. So I met Nathan at the expo. So big shout out to Nathan. And then, yes, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Frank Scalish did come through with the signed OSI professional grade adhesive and sealant Legend Mercury Bass Pro Shops Powell Rods jersey. So that will go up in the BTL studios. Also, I want to thank everyone else who gave. I got a glide bait and a hand painted crankbait. A gentleman gave me a couple of these things called Drop Shot Jocks, and the Denali lithium that I used does not have a drop shot friendly keeper on it. We'll just say that. These things are very cool. I actually he gave me two of them, and I just put them on my rods for the upcoming Open at Toledo Bend, which I'm filming and doing we got some really cool stuff coming up for the Toledo Bend Open. I literally can't say anything about it, but I'm going about it a little bit differently than it's ever been gone about going in as far as preparation and coverage. So the Drop Shot Jock, I'll make sure to have a close up of that in it. All right, let's get to Louis Monetti. Let's bring him in. Louis, thanks for jumping on BTL. Really excited to get your take on how the 2023 Bassmaster Classic went down.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. This is it's gonna be fun. Yeah, no, it was dream tournament. Really, it was incredible, and I'm pumped to talk about it, dude.
Like, dude, I really wasn't ignoring you. You were on like every podcast, and I try to just get a little bit of separation between it. And I probably got more requests to have you on BTL than I have any other angler from that like October through February time period.
Yeah, no, I know I had a bunch of buddies that were like really bugging you about it, and I mean, BTL is everyone's favorite fishing podcast. So I think they were just pushing to have me on, but I'm psyched to be on now. It honestly, with how crazy my from then until the first Open was, it's probably a really good thing that for both of us that we waited until now.
to catch everyone up, in case you've been living under a rock and aren't exactly sure what happened. So the Strike King College Bass Series, you fish all year to get to the national championship. Then you finish in the top of the national championship. Then they basically bracket you, and then you compete one-on-one all the way down. And then the guy who wins it is the college bracket champion, presented by Louis, gets a truck and a boat for all 9 opens and a spot in the Bassmaster Classic. And you somehow navigated through this massive pool of anglers to be that one guy.
Yeah, so not this year, but the year before was the first year they did the top 3 from the Natty, and the team of the year got a bracket invite. And so my partner Michael and I, we won team of the year, so that's how we got in. We absolutely sucked at the Natty. It was a dang good thing they let the team of the year in. And yeah, so that's how I got here.
You beat that Auburn
second
team?
year they've done that.
Aren't there a couple like juggernaut teams out there?
Yeah, them. I mean, there's a couple. It's like, look, so last year was Logan and Tucker's last year. They're bad to the bone. Connor Jacobs, Sam Smith, they're incredible. Sam Hangy and Sam Hosley. I mean, there's a number of teams from Auburn and all over. And yeah, we snuck in there. I didn't have a top 10 last year. I made it straight off of, I think we had a 11th, 13th, 17th, and like a 26th. And we won by like 7 points, like barely snuck in there.
So you get the spot, you make the classic.
Yeah.
Okay, my question to you is, so Bassmaster does I feel like they do a fairly good job of preparing anglers for the opens. I fished college, but it was, I mean, we're talking like back in the iron, like we're way back in the day. Like we're talking guys were running like inboard Rangers when I competed. So
yeah.
Is there any way to be prepared for what a Bassmaster Classic week is like? I mean, the thing's like what, 11 days by the time you start and practice and everything's involved?
Yeah, it's an experience. It's unbelievable to start. It's the whole marathon thing, everything they talk about, dude. Honestly, like listening to this podcast, and you having like I think it was a couple years ago, you had a couple guys on just talk, like literally focus on how crazy the week is. And so like mentally I had an idea of it, but I mean, dude, I'll tell you, Monday when I got home, I didn't even go home. I went and they had a college tournament down the road at Cherokee, and I spent like 2 days there with the boys, just like recovering. It was I was exhausted by the time it was all said and done. But I mean, from kind of a competition standpoint, dude, honestly, I think having the first open before the classic really kind of helped me out. It opened my eyes. Day one of Eufaula, I had a little area that I thought was like to myself. I didn't see anybody in there in practice. I thought I had it to myself. I roll in there, and day one before noon, I had Hackney, Kobe Krieger, Bobby Lane, and Steve Kennedy all run through it. And I was like,
oh, you found the spot, man.
This is wake up call, man. Like I thought I was alone, and these boys all rolled through. And so having that like little experience before the classic, definitely, like honestly, from like an intimidation kind of like overwhelming standpoint, I don't know how I avoided it, but somehow like I was cool all week. And yeah, it was, but from an exhaustion standpoint, my God, it's a marathon.
So I want to walk through what the schedule actually involves. So just a timeline here. So you make the classic in what, October?
Yep.
And then do you work with Bassmaster or Dynamic, or who are you working with to get the wrap, boat, and truck and all that stuff done?
So the best answer is everybody.
Okay.
It's kind of everybody kind of comes together. It's like they have, and some people may complain about it. I think it really helped me out, kind of get a eyeball into what it's gonna be like, because like a lot of guys that probably win this, I plan to do this for a living. And I'm coordinating with Bill Carson at Humminbird Minn Kota, and Luke over there Dynamic, and Hank at Bass, and the guys at the wrap shops, like just kind of all over, figuring it all out, honestly. And it came together slow this year. It was the first open. I didn't even have my boat wrap, but by the time we went to the Classic day one, I had everything wrapped. I had Raptors put on. It was finally all said and done. One shout out the service crews, dude, at the Classic. Them guys are awesome.
Yeah, they're top notch.
They're awesome.
So the key is you got to find out what the service crews like either favorite food is or beverage of choice, especially with the 9 opens, right? Because there's different service crews, and you gotta slide in and grease the squeaky wheel every once in a while. Just be like, hey man, thanks for taking care of me at the Classic. Here's a fifth of, or here's a 12-pack of Dr. Peppers, whatever it is. That's an old school lesson that I learned from Harold Allen.
I think it was Hank who told me the exact same thing, because I had my Raptors put on at the service yard. It came together so late with them and out of stock, brackets and all this stuff. But yeah, I had them put on there, and Hank called me on the way over. He's like, dude, just ask them boys what they like to drink.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got that lesson.
Did you get a choice? Like, did you get to pick that it was Minn Kota Humminbird and Talons or Raptors or all that stuff? Like, I mean, was there a lot of your input in it? I think I just assume, you were talking about working with it. I mean, heck, you're what, 22, 23? 23. Like, I just assumed that everyone was like, oh, congratulations. All right, here's the boat. Here's the truck. We already got the wrap done. This is what you're running this year. But like, you were hands-on in this whole process too. And I would assume also it's probably the first time you've ever been through anything remotely close to this just to get ready for the 23 season.
Oh yeah, dude. From start to finish. I mean, everything I had my hands on, which I think was super cool. I mean, like I said, it's a lot of work. It kind of gives you an eyeball into what it's like to prepare for like a season of being on tour, whether it be from the wrap or rigging the boat. But yeah, I mean, pretty much under the umbrellas of Strike King Lou's and Humminbird and Minn Kota, it was kind of put it all together. So I've still got to get in touch with the guys at Lou's and get some finessey stuff ready for the late season. But as far as tackle goes and rigging the boat and all that, yeah, it was pretty much hands-on and, figuring it all out.
So you get that done. Then the river, the Tennessee River, Tellico, Fort Loudon, obviously it just took place, but that goes off limits. How far in advance? 3 months in advance or 2 months or?
January 1, I want to say it was off
So were
limits.
you able to go practice and see that fishery before it went off limits, before official practice?
Could have, and I chose not to.
Really? Why not?
Dude, I'm a super like fly by the seat of my pants, kind of fish the moment kind of guy. I'm like I feel like I've kind of figured out my fishing style backwards, in that I feel like I've got a good kind of grip on my mentality and my like mental side of it and how I like to fish and all that. But like mechanically and electronics and all that stuff, like all that is all the stuff I got to work on. Like I am you watch me skip a jig around, it's an ugly sight.
Not good.
But not good, no. But like mentality wise and like strategy wise, I feel like I got a pretty solid grip on it. And so I kind of like to just fly by the seat of my pants. Like when so we found out the bracket tournament was on Greenwood Lake in South Carolina on day 3 of the Natty. Like once everybody had qualified, that's when we found out where it was. And I was praying it was somewhere I'd never been to before, because I knew that if I just showed up and just went fishing, I'd have the best chance at winning. And it was at Greenwood. I'd never been there. Most of the field hadn't been there. And it was like, I feel good now. And I kind of looked at the Classic the same way. It was, we got 3 days of super weird practice, then the 1 half day. And it was kind of like, sweet, I get to just kind of fish the moment and fish what's in front of me.
So you'd never seen the Tennessee River when you put in right there. Did you put in at the bridge all the days of practice, like that first day of practice, like where everyone else, or did you go ahead and launch in one of the lakes just on that very first day?
Yeah, so the way I kind of like to approach a tournament is like I'll kind of figure out the area I'm kind of planning on staying in, just that suits my fancy kind of the best, that I feel like if I'm gonna have a chance to win, it's gonna be there. And so I kind of settled on Tellico just to A, get away from people, and B, I'm a Clearwater guy. It's how I like to fish. And so I kind of launched in the middle of Tellico all 3 days. I got a hotel down there closer to Tellico to do that. And I didn't make my first cast in Loudon until I realized I had 5 minutes to fish running back day 2.
So the first time you'd ever seen the Classic launch and launched with all the Classic guys was the one single official practice day. And then did you run down to?
I mean, yeah, from the water, yeah, and even in the official practice day, I ran all the way. I ran like an hour and 5 minutes in practice.
And you weren't like, hey, maybe I need to like launch where we're taken out of and get the vibe of this and be around the guys like that. Never, because I would have been like a nervous wreck at your age, just being like, okay, I just don't want to screw this thing up in front of these guys.
Yeah, dude, it's super weird. I know that kind of like months out, I was like, I didn't even think about it. Like I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to get too deep in my head. Like I was thinking about the Open. That's all I was thinking about. And then I got there. I don't know what came over me, but something happened early in the week where whether it was practicing around these guys or I don't know again if it was the first Open that did it, but I got out there. I was like, man, I want to beat these guys bad, and that was kind of my mindset all week.
Was everyone cool, or was there anybody you tried to like? I mean, did Jason Christie like give you the eye? Did Hackney snarl at you, or was everyone like accommodating? I mean, it is the Bassmaster Classic, for crying out loud.
I know, yeah, no, it was really. I mean, I didn't have any problems with anybody.
Yeah.
There were definitely guys who kept to themselves more than others, and I kind of kept to myself. It was kind of like speak when spoken to. It's like I'm here to fish just like y'all are, and I'm kind of gonna stay in my own lane. And if guys want to come up and talk, I'll talk to them, and if I run into somebody and want to talk to them, I will. But no, it was actually so super cool, kind of like back end story. That day 1, it was that Monday. Yeah, it was Monday. It was after the 3 days of unofficial practice. That was when I had my Raptors put on. I was sitting in the service yard, and there was, I don't know, 10, 15 guys there, and everybody's getting their stuff put on, getting rigged up. And one guy walks up to me and just to introduce himself, say, hey, welcome to Classic, do well this week. I forget exactly what the conversation was, but it was Gussie. He was the first guy fishing the tournament who came up and said anything to me. Yeah. So kind of see that go full circle is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is neat. So you've been there. So you go there. What I'm assuming you get in, you have a full day, then you practice 3 days, then you have a day off, then you have an official practice day, then you have a media day, and then you have day 1.
It's Monday is move into the hotel day, check in, all that. Tuesday registration, Wednesday's practice day, media day, day 1. Yeah.
Does it go fast, or does it seem like it takes forever? I mean, at this point, you're 5 days in.
Yeah. Getting to day 1 felt like an eternity. Like from when I got there on the Thursday before to day 1 takeoff felt like a month. Like I don't know why it felt like it was I just wanted to get out and fish so bad. And then once day 1 started, I was driving home Monday like that. Like it was over. The second it started, it was over.
Day 1 had to be a little bittersweet. I mean, there was less than half the field that had a 5 bass limit. However, you had the 5 smallest bass that crossed the stage. You had 713 and were 31st. So, I mean, not a disaster. You look at it, if you're looking at it for the win, you're 11 pounds behind Gussie, but you were also less than right around a pound out of the top 25 cut. So thoughts after day 1?
Yeah, I mean, going into day 1, man, I felt like I had a good practice. And I know Hackney said the same thing. A couple other guys did too. If you'd have told me I was gonna catch 5 bass going into or after day 1, I'd have told you they were gonna go 12, 13 pounds, maybe 15, 16. Like I was catching 3.5 pound largemouth. I caught a keeper smallmouth. When I did set the hook on a keeper in practice, it was a 2, 2.5. Like I felt really good. And day one, I was sitting there at noon with that limit, and I went smallmouth fishing and just didn't get the bite. But God, I don't know what happened to the size. So yeah, like you said, after day one, I mean, realistically, I'm sitting there going, we got to catch a mega bag. But at the same time, I'm sitting there going, man, to make kind of my classic, and I'd still, obviously, I wanted to win this tournament. I felt like just getting to day two or getting to day three, you know, you can only hope that Gussie slips day two from, you know, my perspective, and everybody slips. So just to get to day three, and then kind of, you know, we've seen 21, 22 pounds there. It exists. I think 23 pounds the weekend before the tournament, won a local tournament. So they live there. And I'd seen good ones in practice. So my mindset going into day two was just get to day three. And that with the warming weather, I thought it just had to happen eventually, and it didn't. But yeah, no, going into day two, it was just, let's just get to day three.
And then you're able to do that. Did you think you ended up finishing in 23rd, or after day two, you were in 23rd place? You had 9.7, another limit. Did you think you had enough, or did you think that you'd be working the expo on day three? Because you had an hour plus run in from where you were to think about it. And I mean, dude, that's a big difference. That's not only $3,000, that's also final day Bassmaster Classic, weighing in, being on that stage the same day that the Classic Trophy is held up. I mean, there's 25 guys. I mean, Chris Johnson wasn't there. Seth wasn't there. Scott Martin, Zaldane, Jacobson, Swindle, Paul. I mean, dude, there were a bunch of guys that didn't make that cut. So what were your thoughts about sliding in there?
Yeah, no, I caught day two. I had my 4 little ones were smaller than my 4 little ones day one.
Oh, wow.
Day one, they were all small, but they were all like 15 inchers. Day two, I had like 2 barely keepers and then 2 barely 15 inchers. And with like, I had 0 in the well at noon, day two. And caught everything in 2.5 hours. I caught like a 3.5, 4 pound mean mouth for my 3rd fish. And that was like my whole bag. And then, yeah, no, man, it was that run was it was kind of like the bracket, man. Like the bracket, I knew in my head I'd lost.
Yeah.
And I was running back day two of that tournament, like, well, I'm working tomorrow. I mean, there's just no chance. I mean, I think the cut weight was Kenta day one with like 9.5 or something. And I had less than that for a 2-day average, and I thought that the fishing had to have gotten better. It was only getting more consistent weather-wise, warmer. The wind blew. I don't know. I was convinced the fishing had gotten. I caught them better, so I figured it just got better. And it got worse. And yeah, we set the boat down. I checked in, and obviously your marshal can't say anything until you check in. And I check in, and he goes, "It's going to be tight." And I said, "What?" He was like, "Dude, it's going to be tight." And I said, "There's no way." Like, I sucked. And I think I talked to, I think LeHugh was the first guy I talked to. I was like, how'd it go? He said, worse than yesterday. And I was like, what? And everyone was like 1, 4, 2. What in the world happened? And I looked at Bass Track, and it had me in like 22nd. And I was shocked. I was, yeah. So that was wild.
All right, we are talking with a 23rd place finisher in the 2023 Bassmaster Classic, and I guess full-time Bassmaster Opens EQ angler now too, Louis Monetti. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to dive into that final day, what it's like as a 23-year-old who had no idea that this was going to happen in October, taking off in that line on the final day of the Bassmaster Classic. So it's BTL on a Monday. We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Everything you need, one legendary brand. Top one on Strike King.
So I'm a big guy, you know, a lunker, a two-sandwich eating kind of man. And on behalf of all of those bigger, I gotta say it once and for all, it's bad enough that the fish look smaller in our hands. The last thing we should have to worry about is getting quality outdoor clothing that fits. Avco, any fish, any water.
Have you considered purchasing new electronics for your rig? The type of mounts you choose to protect your investment should be part of the decision-making process. No matter if you prefer 1, 2, or 3 graphs up front, Beatdown Outdoors has a solution for you. Adjustable, versatile, rigid, and made in the USA. What's your ultimate electronics setup? Check out the full selection of Beatdown Outdoors products by visiting beatdownoutdoors.com.
Are you looking to install your own fishing electronics? The solution is the Bass Tank Power Harness. It takes the guesswork out of installation. No more voltage issues or interference. Designed by an engineer so that you can get professional results right there in your own garage. Installation done right with the help of the Bass Tank Power Harness. You can feel confident knowing that your installation was done right. The Bass Tank Power Harness. Give us a call or order yours today at thebasstank.com.
Get the best patterns backed by tournament data. Start by finding the best 10% of your lake. Know exactly what to look for and what to throw. After that, just put them in the boat. Try the Deep Dive app today.
Look at that beast right there.
All right, welcome back, BTL on a Monday. I'm fighting the internal struggle here, Louis, but I think we're getting through it together. Learning what it's like from the inside out for the what was your official title? You were the college bracket champion, or what? You have some weird title because it's hard because it's like not the national champion that makes it, but then you're the bracket champion. Then one thing sponsored by Strike King, the other, the bracket though, is sponsored by Lose. So like if you were to put it together into an official title, who were you when you were at the Classic?
All right. I'm going to attempt this. I want to say it was the 2022 Bassmaster College Classic Bracket champion. And dude,
presented by Lose.
Day 2. Yeah, presented by Strike King. They ran me in after day 2 weigh-in. They ran me in like a little running more media room where I guess they do like it's like the deal where like everyone's leaning on the chair talking about, you know, whatever.
Acting like it's life or death.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, Lewis, introduce yourself as the 20, and he runs off that whole thing. And dude, it took me like 4 tries. Like I did not get it down. It's a mouthful.
It's all good. So I did a little bit of research. Like I said, I've listened to a few of the podcasts that you've been on. You've been pretty heavily involved in this. This has been what you've wanted to do for a while. Got into fishing in grade school with your buddy getting you to go freshwater with bass fishing.
Yeah.
But you live for that final day of the Bassmaster. I mean, that is the top 25 guys right now in the world out of everybody who bass fishes and tournament fishes. You are the epic and mecca and epicenter of the fishing world right then and there. What is that like to launch your boat on the final morning of the Bassmaster Classic and look around? There's only 24 and it's Greg Hackney's and Jason Christie's and Gussie's and those type of anglers around. And you're like, holy crap, I'm one of these guys.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man. So like I said, like earlier in the week, my mindset was like, I want to beat these guys. Like that was the only thing on my mind. And then after day 2, when I'd made day 3, that was kind of like my classic win. Like I went into day 3 just on the moon. I was so psyched, and it was the coolest experience. It was a blast. It was amazing. I didn't catch them worth a crap. But like I had my buddies following me all day, and they followed me the first 2 days too. But that third day there was kind of no tension in the air. I definitely didn't see Gussie struggling the way he did, but going in, I was an absurd amount of weight back, and kind of just knew that it's going to take 35 pounds to win this, and I don't think 35 pounds swims here. So it was just kind of a happy day, man. I was just out there, like you said, like just knowing who I was out there with, what tournament I was fishing, what day it was just amazing. And I mean, honestly, kind of since that day 2 win, I've just kind of been in a great place. And that was kind of when just kind of a validating feeling and just like a special like buzz in the air feeling. It was just a really, really cool experience.
Now, like the first couple mornings, like the final morning, it sounds like you had fun, but are you doing the deal where your like hands are shaking and you're taking a deep breath going, all right, Louis, let's calm down here. This is just fishing. Like, do you have that deal out of body experience? Like, oh my God, like when you get your first bite, or are you just a cool customer where that doesn't impact you?
Dude, so that's a question I've asked myself lately, because I was that way. So last year in the college series, like I remember 2 definite tournaments. One was Harris Chain. I had a 10 that it was the first tournament. I had like a 10 on the bed that I thought I could catch, and I showed up and it was gone. But that I remember showing up on that fish just like wreck. And then same thing, final day or first day at Saginaw, which was the tournament. We were in team of the year lead, and we had a good deal going. I remember showing up that morning just shaking like a leaf. And for some reason, man, ever since the bracket, like I can't even put into words why or how it's happened, but I've just been like here. I haven't wavered or I don't know what it's been, but something's happened ever since we won team of the year that I've just kind of been chill. I literally can't explain it, because if you'd have told me that, when I fished my first classic next year, a year ago, that I'd be, cool, calm, collected the whole night, I would have told you you're insane. But for some reason, I cannot put into words why, but I was cool, like just ready to go fishing and try and win the dang thing. I can't explain it.
Does it seem like it was really happened, or does it still seem like it's just kind of like you have to have people tell you, like, I fished in the Bassmaster Classic, I made the cut, I fished all 3 days, like, or is it? I mean, you seem pretty chill about it.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, like it's so bizarre, just because I know like myself, and I know a year ago I would have been I wouldn't have believed any of it, but for some reason something's like clicked mentally in the last couple months.
That's good for the opens coming up.
It's like, yeah, like it's like I've been just chill, like I just go fishing. I don't know what it is. It's been a weird feeling that's kind of happened. But I definitely will say, man, something about kind of like a day 2 night. Like I was sitting in bed alone at the hotel, just like, dude, you're here. Like, not only are you just here, like you're here fishing day 3, like you are here. So yeah, it's kind of set in, and like, dude, now there's just nothing I want more in the world than to get back there. It's like a drug. It's insane.
After that day 3, when you were out celebrating with all your friends and family, were those your parents who were out there, and just like friends from college and high school? And it seems like it was just like people all over the map. You had like 30, 40 people with you, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was. I had my dad there. I had my stepmom there. My mom had gotten to sleep earlier. She was exhausted too. But yeah, no, I had high school friends there. All my coworkers, all my buddies. Like it was everybody.
That had to be a cool memory, man, to have that many people and bring that many people together for once, and then to have achieved like a lifelong dream like that, and then have everybody there like so genuinely happy.
Yeah, dude. Sunday night, I mean, on top of the fact that I think we saw 4:30.
Oh gosh.
On top of that being a memory.
4:30 a.m.
Yeah, it was we gave it to her. But no, it was just, I mean, exactly like you said, man. Having everybody there, like, and the other thing too is like that was kind of the first time in my life, like I had all my friends and family from all different walks of life, Charlotte friends, uh, just at New Jersey friend, like everybody from everywhere in the same place, and it was so dang cool. Like that was a night, and I honestly wish that I'd gotten to spend more time with everybody. But so I mean, yeah, Sunday night was a blast.
Yeah, I would imagine there's quite a cultural difference between like coast Jersey, like literal Jersey Shore, right? Is that like the kind of your neck of like
Yeah.
Jersey Shore and then like UNC Charlotte?
Definitely, big culture difference, but some people in there that had no idea even what the Bassmaster Classic was 4 months ago to everyone being there at the Classic. Like, dude, it was awesome.
I saw you mentioned in a couple articles the impact that Mike Iaconelli has had on your life growing up, just as far as an angler. Obviously not fishing in it. I have a feeling he'll be in this next year's Classic, as motivated he is. It is how he started this year. But have you had any interactions with him? Has he reached out to you? And we hear about like the growing the sport and the urban thing. You've got the city limits fishing with Ike coming out of Jersey, that whole thing. I mean, would you consider yourself a product of Mike Iaconelli?
1,000%. I mean, he's been my guy since I started like being serious about it. Honestly, the whole reason why I'm here, from a tournament perspective, I've loved fishing for as long as I can, even remember. But from tournament bass fishing, like when I read Fishing on the Edge, when I was told, like, that did it for me. I remember sitting down reading that, and that was the inspiration. So ever since I read that and kind of just became a huge fan of Mike's and met him when I was super young. And yeah, man, I did Ike Live virtually over the summer.
Yep.
And then after winning the bracket, I got to go in studio and we hung out, and it was like that was like almost as wild as being at the Classic, man. That was wild.
Did you have a chance did he give you any actual like advice about the Classic going into the week, not fishing wise, but just mentality wise, how to approach it?
Not the Classic specifically. I haven't really. We've talked a couple times since I've been on, but not much. It was funny, actually. I think it was the day. It was media day. I went and gassed up my boat, and I was going back to the boat yard. It was like 6 o'clock at night, and I was riding back, and I was at like a 4-way stop, and I'm at one red light, and there's another red light. I guess there was like a left turn going or whatever. And I'm stopped there, and Ish's truck pulls up at like the adjacent red light, and I'm like, oh, cool, Ish. Like,
it's hard to
everybody's
miss.
in town. Yeah, exactly. It's a gigantic truck, and it's Classic week. All right, cool. Yeah, everyone's there. And I look back at my phone, answer a text or something. I look back up, and the passenger window's rolling down. I was like, what in the world? And it's Ike. And I roll down the window. He's like, yo, Lou, you going to win this freaking tournament? And I was like, dude,
No way.
Yeah, it was awesome, dude.
That's
I was
sick.
like, yeah, I hadn't talked to him at all that week. So that was the only time I saw him all week, but it was pretty dang cool.
God, you just living the life, Lou.
Trying to, man.
All right, I do want to get into the ride a little bit. That was one of the focuses of like that you basically had to adjust to like all new stuff for the Classic Derby after rolling with what was it, like a 90s rig? Yeah,
96 Ranger.
Difficult, easy? I mean, how hard is that to jump into something that you're not 100% used to? I mean, I used to run an old 2007 ZX190 that, you had to pump the ball 3 times and then touch the key. And then, but once you got the system down, the thing felt like home.
Yeah. That boat still feels like home to me. I've actually got a high school, a guy I captained in high school who is running it this year on the college series. And when I stopped in at Cherokee last week, I got to see it in all its glory. And it's still, she's still doing it. But no, I mean, so the first time that I turned the new boat Nitro over was day one of practice for Eufaula. That was the first time I started the motor. Yeah. And so that week was, I mean, we caught a couple of fish. I think I finished like 84th or something. But that week was just like boat adjustment week, like running it. I did the first time I'd ever gone 70 mile an hour driving a boat was when I ran down the lake day one at Eufaula. Like it was total adjustment week. And day like I want to say day two of practice there, I was like messing around, dude, trying to run the freaking brush pile, stupid crap. And I'm looking at him with the Mega Live, and I'm like, dude, I'm so lost with this stuff that the only thing it's gonna do is screw me up. And I got home, I got home that night to the Airbnb and just pulled it off. It's sitting in the back of the truck. When I have time, I'm gonna get down and like actually figure out how to work all that stuff. But dude, for now, it's just that's just a whole nother step of it that it's gonna do nothing but mess me up if I try and do it now. It's I've got like the 360 on there and everything, but I'm used to the rest of the boat. But the live stuff, I'm gonna wait on that.
But you're a clear water guy, you said, and your Jersey, which is highly pressured stuff. So are you?
Yeah.
I mean, are you a power guy, or are you just to throw at what you can see, or if you describe yourself as an angler?
Yeah. I'm weird, man. I'm a weird fisherman in that I love clear water. I love finesse fishing. I love light line, and I rarely see like more than 10 foot. Like I live in shallow clear water. It's
really
super weird combination. Yeah.
So you would like
Oneida. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oneida's. I mean, I fished there. That was kind of so Jersey's so bad that anytime you go and fish any sort of big tournament when you're growing up, it's like New York or the Chesapeake.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've spent time on Oneida. Spent a lot of time on the St. Lawrence. It's kind of like that's honestly like where I've spent the most time in a boat is St. Lawrence. So I love that place. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a weird fisherman, man. Like if you watch the bracket, I won throwing a jig and a buzz bait, and that is not me. Like I am not that guy. Like that is totally adapted from being here for 5 years and was only doing it because I knew that's how I had to win. But that is not my style, man. I'm like a
spinning rod
6-pound line. Oh yeah, 6-pound line, Ned rig.
Now we're talking. Oh, now we're talking. Keep talking, Louis.
Yeah. That's how I live, man. But Clearwater shallow. So it's a weird deal. I remember I almost don't want to talk about this. I remember listening to I think it was a BTL. You had Shakurat on when he qualified at I want to say it was Smith Lake, and he was like sight fishing super shallow largemouth with like a wacky rig, and that's like my deal. Like I live for like those early fall tournaments when for no reason at all, giant largemouth are just cruising around and clear water. Like that's my stuff. Like
nice.
That's what I love to do.
Now let me ask you this: Eufaula, did you pull the spinning rods out and light line them there? Because I did. I mean, I stayed true to my roots. I caught all them all of them 46 place worth on a Ned and a drop shot.
Yeah, dude. I spent like a day of practice trying to figure out like a freaking 10-pound spotted bass deal just because just because I like the security. And that's the other thing, dude, is like I'm like you, dude. I'm a dinker and dunker freaking just points, 2.5 pounds you to death. Like that's how I live. I mean, we won team of the year, like I said, without a top 10. Like that's how I live. And so yeah, no, I tried. I had a pretty good practice with a wacky rig and thought that was going to be my deal, but ended up catching them all. Just like there's that one area I was telling you about that all those guys ran through. Everyone was running through there with like the swim jig and the buzz bait and all that stuff. And there was a good population of like late pre-spawn and like spawning fish that were just sitting there like in like little clumps of that dead crap that was everywhere and reed heads. And dude, I was Florida styling it. I had a freaking black Senko or black stick bait, bizbait sassy stick on a 20-pound line, I would just flip it up to like where it looked like one would spawn and just hold it. Just hold it. The other way I fished it was like big style, like part of my style is just crawling. Like I settle in a place and I just die there. Like I will burn a place to the ground.
Nice.
So
one of
that
those
was
where
kinda
when
how
you
I
go
did
past, the
Eufaula,
guy
'cause
wants
I
to
just
get in there and he's like, oh, that guy's still there. And then he comes back 2 hours later and he's like, son of a gun, that guy's still there.
yeah.
And that's you.
Dude, that's me. Dude, that one stretch that all them guys would run through in like 45 minutes, I spent like 6 hours a day and like
Good
I
Lord.
just soaked it. And yeah, I had 4 day too, dude. I lost number 5 like 6 times. I should have got my like 55th and sprinted out of Eufaula and been ecstatic, but instead I didn't catch number 5 and here we are. But yeah, no, that's kind of how I do it.
It is what it is. You mentioned it a little bit. We talked about it off air, though. You are fishing all 9 or 8 of the remaining Bassmaster Opens, which for a 23-year-old recent graduate is a tall order because it's $16,200 in entry fees. You get some expenses paid. You get to use I think a Tundra and a rig for the entire season.
Yeah,
so like you can't turn that down.
Yeah, no, I mean the entry fees are totally paid by Strike King Bassmaster. It's incredible deal. And yeah, I mean I honestly had planned. So my plan going after we won Team of the Year was regardless how the bracket won, I was gonna find a way. Don't ask me how. I was gonna find a way to get a 20-foot boat and run a division. Just kind of dip my toes in, and then again find a way and jump in all 9 the next year. That was kind of my life plan after winning Team of the Year before the bracket. Won the bracket, and so then it was just jump straight in all 9. And yeah, man, I'm in it. It's I'm young. I'm 23. I got time, and I'm single, and so I got to take a shot, and now's the time.
And working full time with Biz Baits, but then part time, depending on. I mean, they're basically saying, "Hey, dude, go do what you got to do on the opens, but be in the office when you're not at the opens."
Yeah. That's exactly right. I mean, like I said, I'm here now and working full time when I'm home, and when I'm away, I'm away. But it's an awesome group of guys here. I mean, everybody here is like my best friends, and they're my biggest supporters. So yeah, it's super easy to kind of do both, and hopefully try and bring up the brand while at the same time making it fishing is kind of the whole plan.
Well, you also learn about the business side of it too. I mean, which is ideal because that's just as important as the on the water side if you want to make a career out of this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's kind of why I did it. I got a degree and could have went and tried to get a real good paying job in corporate America or who knows. But I want to stay here and work here for the next couple of years. Just exactly that. Get a feel for the industry. Go to trade shows, shake hands, make connections. It all comes with it, like you said. And so it's just been an awesome opportunity working here, especially being in Charlotte, North Carolina. There's so many pro connections and fishing world connections here that it just works out really well. And so yeah, I'm here for as long as I can be, pretty much.
I'm on the website. I didn't realize you guys had this. Last time I was at Norman, I'm going to throw this up there. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to. Last time I was at Norman, I got turned on to this little number right here. The little True South buzz frame.
The old twin buzz. Yeah.
Oh, dude. That's all that people are getting of it. That thing is gnarly. Do you throw that?
That is part of what I want to brag on. That is especially, dude, that time of year, like that early fall deal. It's a killer.
That is such a tricky little buzzbait. And I never found, so like outside of like the big giant black and red ones that look like a freaking bird that they throw on like the California Delta and stuff that is just so big and obtrusive. I've never found a twin blade, and that one is and you can get it to where they just kind of barely nick each other.
Dude, that thing is awesome.
Yeah, I'm a buzzbait fiend. Like, I mean, I'm obsessed with little buzzbaits. So
yeah, and you can also do. I like putting like a little tiny swim bait on there too.
Yep.
Especially that time of the year, or a fluke. It's an awesome little bait.
Yeah, that's what I was doing on Lake Norman, and those spotted bass would just flush it.
Oh,
way better than just a single. That little double, there was something with it. I don't know how it's rides or it actually looks like a little school of them, but that's a badass buzzbait.
It is, and the only problem with it is that a lot of guys around here, especially like Norman, you like to skip a buzzbait. It's a harder buzzbait to skip because it's got both arms. But if you can just run it down the sides of docks and stuff, like you said, it's a badass little dude.
Yep. All right. People want to keep up with you for the remainder of the year, in the opens, everything that's going on, social medias, YouTubes. Are you doing anything crazy for the remainder of the year? Or just,
man, I'm not doing much like YouTube or anything like that. I really focus on Instagram. I don't really know why. It's just kind of easy for me.
Same
so
here.
I post a ton on I post a ton on Instagram. It's Louis_Monetti. If you follow along, it's I try and keep it about as real as I possibly can on there. It's I don't know. It's I only know how to be me, so it's a good time on there.
Good stuff. Anything else you want to get in here before I let you go?
Man, I'm good. I appreciate you having me on. This has been a blast. And,
I enjoyed the hell out of it. We just had a little fishing talk. We got a little behind the scenes action. It's good stuff.
Yeah, dude. And shoot, I'll see you next week.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's coming up quick. Bassmaster Open number 2, the EQ on Toledo Bend. So, yeah, you need anything, give me a shout. Not that I could help
Thanks,
you,
man.
but
Same to you.
All right,
that makes 2 of us.
Yeah.
See you, man.
All right, that was Louis Monetti, the college bracket champion. Great story. Every couple of years, or it seems like every once in a while, you get one of these stories that it just is so organic and natural the way it comes about, and then you just have a couple little cool things happen, and definitely took advantage of his week there at the Bassmaster Classic. All right, we're going to take our final break of the show. When we come back, talk about an exciting week for the remainder of the week on BTL. Also, how you can support St. Jude in a number of different ways. It's BTL on a Monday. We'll be back right after this.
Elite Series Pro Daryl Gleason here. My Pro Guide batteries keep me going on those long tournament days and long practice days. Always plenty of juice, never fail. The best part about Pro Guide batteries, it's the people behind the company. They have over 40 years experience in the battery business, keeping all of us fishermen out on the water longer, catching more fish. Check them out at ProGuideBatteries.com.
What's up, Bass Talk Live fans? Brandon Polnick here. And ever since I won a couple Bassmaster Elite Series events on X-Zone Lures, I've been getting a bunch of questions of what makes them so special and different. And really, the truth is, it's in the details. The little details, things like no cheap fillers in their plastic. That gives you more lifelike action, more realistic and vibrant colors. But don't just take my word for it. Go to www.xzonelures.com and check them out for yourself.
The great thing about the new Sensation soft plastics from Big Bite Baits, heavily scented, super soft, buoyant, comes in 7 great new shapes. I've got a couple of them of my signature series, the cliffhanger worm and the ramtail craw. Great for a flipping jig, football jig, swim jig, all that. Several other great shapes. Really excited about it. We've worked over the last year, catches fish all over the country, and I think it's going to catch fish for people everywhere you try it.
The Spro Little John crankbait has been around for almost 15 years, and it is one of my go-to crankbaits whenever I need a fish in the boat, so you can never have enough new colors. That's why Spro's coming out with a handful of new colors, including Pearl Shad, which has this bleached out white look, but it's got this pearlescent, really, really pretty. We've got Copper Shad, which looks amazing in the water. It's got that purple flake on the back, really, really pops in the water. And then if you want some real pop, we've got Sparkle Shad, nothing but sparkles all over this thing. And then last but not least, we've got the matte Sexy Shad, just a really different looking color for a crankbait. So you want to give them a little different look, that matte Sexy Shad is definitely the one to go with. All these colors are available in the original Little John and the MD.
Shoreline boat and RV, dock rash, storm damage, collision repair, that deep scratch or gouge from trying to access that secret creek. Shoreline boat and RV can get your prized possession back in mint condition and looking good on the water, fast. All repairs are done in-house, so they're able to get your boat or RV back to brand new, quickly. All Shoreline's work comes with a rock-solid warranty. Find out more at shorelineboatandrv.com. Kansas City, Austin, and Tulsa.
I'm the kind of guy that never leaves a house without a pocket knife, and Gamakatsu's come out with the EDC series of knives. EDC stands for Everyday Carry, so whether you're on the water or off, you can always have it with you. The best thing about it to me is that assisted open feature. With this D2 blade, you've got it right here at your fingertips, so if you can't find your scissors, you need to cut a knot, you need to cut your braid, you've always got it. Make sure you check it out. Never leave home without your Gamakatsu EDC knife.
Born in Japan, using technology, innovation, and precision, Sunline produces the widest selection of fishing lines at the most technologically advanced line factory in the world. Manufactured at the strictest tolerances to produce victories at the highest levels of tournament bass fishing. From household names like Christie, Swindle, and Cruz, to young guns like Cook, Logan, New, and Welcher, they all trust Sunline to take them to the top of the leaderboard. Choose the line that will give you the strength to guarantee your confidence. Sunline.
The great thing about the new Sensation soft plastics from Big Bite Baits, heavily scented, super soft, buoyant, comes in 7 great new shapes. I've got a couple of them of my signature series, the cliffhanger worm and the ramtail craw. Great for a flipping jig, football jig, swim jig, all that. Several other great shapes. Really excited about it. We've worked over the last year, catches fish all over the country, and I think it's going to catch fish for people everywhere you try it. Having confidence in your tackle while on the water is one of the main things to success, in my opinion. In the last couple of years with Denali, I've had just that. From anything from spinning rods, casting rods, tungsten products, even now to casting and spinning reels, I have the confidence to go out there and get the job done and know that all my equipment is going to handle it and do it just the way I want it. The thing about Denali is you've got great quality products at a great price point, so make sure you check them out.
All right, wrapping things up here on a Monday with BTL. Want to let everybody know that we are in full swing for the St. Jude fundraiser for the Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic that takes place the first weekend in May. I'm fishing with Adam Bartuzik. Again, like I said, I'm going to talk about this every show. In fact, I'm going to talk about it so much that tomorrow we are going to have the MC of that event that takes place up in Wabasha, Wisconsin. Like I said, the first weekend in May, Fat Cat Newton is going to be on. Had a really good show with him last year. Talked a little bit about his work with St. Jude, some of his life experience with it, as well as his work with the National Professional Fishing League. Going to talk about that again, what's going on with the NPFL, a new show that he's doing with Luke Duncan that kind of changes things up on the weigh-in for the NPFL there, and then talk about St. Jude. So if you'd like to support St. Jude, which I would encourage all of you to, last year we sold a ton of t-shirts. Adam Bartuzik and I, we raised over 6,000. We're a little shy of that right now, but if you'd like to support BTL, share the screen. This is just the basszone.com or basstalklive.com. Then go to the top, hit shop BTL, click on it, and there it is right there. That is the BTL St. Jude fundraiser t-shirt, $24.95, 100%. Of the proceeds on that go to support St. Jude. Last year, like I said, we sold, it comes in black with the green or green with the green, one of the soft tees. And like I said, last year we did, I think between the fundraiser and direct donations, we did around $6,000. We're a little shy of that, and we've got a couple weeks to go. There's also another way that you can do it. You can do a direct donation to our donation page for St. Jude. That link will be in the YouTube bio here. And for every $20 that you donate on the direct donation, just make sure you put your name and email address there. You get a ticket, a raffle ticket. Adam Bartuzik's giving away a Blackfish rain suit. I'm giving away an AFCO rain suit. Each one is roughly between $300 and $500. And that drawing will take place on I believe the 28th, either the 21st or the 28th. So all you have to do is go and direct donate to that with the link that is in the YouTube description. Also will be up on my Instagram at Matt Pangrak and Adam Bartuzek's Instagram. So thanks for all those who have helped out on that, and in a really good cause. So all right, like I said, Fat Cat Newton tomorrow. On Wednesday we're going to circle back around to a breaking news show that we had earlier this year. The Western Bass Shootout is fixing to take place. God, I'm a true Oklahoma guy now. The Western Bass Shootout is going to take place the middle of the month out on the California Delta, bringing together the MLF Toyota Series, One Bass, the Apex Series, and the Wild West. And they take the top anglers from all that. They put them together. They have a big outdoor expo. We're going to have guys from all of the organizations on that are working together to make this thing, basically, for lack of a better term, the Bassmaster Classic of the West Coast. So big shout out to Louis Monetti for jumping on BTL. Long overdue for his appearance tomorrow. Fat Cat Newton. We'll talk to everybody then. See ya.